Okay, we are now live, my dear.
All
So
righty
anybody
then.
who's watching in the Facebook group, I'm going to go ahead and pop the Zoom link in right here, and you can come right on in. There's no reason for you to stay in the Facebook group when you can actually participate. So let me grab that real quick. I'm going to let all these people in.
Perfecto.
Bam.
There we go.
All right. I'm so excited about today. So I'll introduce you in just a moment. Let me just make sure I get this invite
take your
link
time.
copied and pasted in there real quick.
Awesome.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. My computer here is really slow. Or not my computer, the internet. So hi, everyone. It's really good to see you. We have a really exciting guest today. This is one of my very, very, very best friends in the whole widest universe. I think probably for multiple lifetimes, but that's just between us. And this is going to be our July guest host. I'm so excited to have you, Tiani. I know I've been trying to get you on here for like 2.5 years, and you finally said yes. So here we go. We are live streaming in the Hypnotherapy Uncensored Facebook group. We are also going to be uploaded onto YouTube. So if you don't want your lovely face in front of everyone for all time, go ahead and just stop your video now. And there will be a question and answer at the end. So you can pop in later if you want to. So I wanted to kind of take you on a little bit of a quick journey, because since I have Tiani here, I want to give you a little bit of our origin, which is exciting, that the whole origin of this group actually has something to do with Tiani. And I don't know if she even knows that. Yeah. So Tiani and I both have one academy in common from several years ago, and great trainings, but they were not super big on sharing of information from other sources and trainings and techniques. They definitely didn't like it when people asked questions that they were uncomfortable with. And so I felt rather censored, because you guys know me. I'm insatiably curious, and believe it or not, quite skeptical. I mean, yes, even me, Miss Woo Woo, totally pretty skeptical. And I do like to ask the hard questions, and I want to find out everything. Like when I am curious about something, I take deep dives and down the rabbit hole, and I just want to find out everything I can. And I kept getting kicked out because I was doing this. And so I was like, well, crap, I need to find somewhere that I can ask those hard questions. I need to find somewhere where I can benefit from all these other people that have taken different courses, that are offering different courses, that have been doing it in different ways, all the different techniques, the skills, the tools. I don't want to just be limited to only one thing. And I couldn't find anything where there was just that sort of hub of all these different backgrounds. So I decided to create it because I wanted it to exist. And so I was like, well, if I build it, they will come. And sure enough, they did. And so it started off, Tiani was one of the very first people that I that joined the group. I think in the first 10, right? And you experienced your fair share of censorship there too, I know. So so you were definitely part of the inspiration for this whole thing. Anyway, so Tiani is here today to share with us some really cool tips and tricks and techniques for creating hypno audios. And I'm going to just go ahead and let you do that. Periodically, I will post some different links into the chat. There's going to be one for Tiani in case anybody wants to book in with her to learn more of all this stuff and anything else that she has to offer, which she'll share with you. Another one will be the YouTube channel for Hypnotherapy Uncensored, because I am slowly getting all of the old monthly Zoom spotlights up into that YouTube channel. And we've been doing this since spring of 2021. and I've only missed 2. One because Richard Nongard was sick, and one because I was moving across the country. So we have a lot. And right now I think there's like 7 on there, but there's many more to come. So I'll post that on there. And then also, if you love these and you also maybe like the masterminds, which come every, like there's one live thing every 2 weeks in the group. So there's this one, which is the first Wednesday of every month. And then there is the mastermind squad, which is the third Wednesday of every month. If you like these, feel free to donate $2. $2. I mean, you can't even get a cup of coffee for $2 anymore. So, honestly, it's not that much, but all it does is just to help offset my time, because there's a lot of preparation and organization that goes into the back end of this. Okay, I am done with my part. I'm going to hand it over to you, Miss Perkins. Take it away, my dear.
Thank you so much, Krista. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. And Krista, I love you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I feel like I definitely feel like we've been together for a lot longer than the couple years we've known each other here in this lifetime. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm glad I finally made it to be able to be one of the spotlight guests. You guys may know, but we have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. So there's just always something going on between all these little ones. So I finally made it, guys. I'm here and I'm super excited, guys. Today, I just want to be really transparent. Sorry, my internet's a little funky right now, but I want to be really transparent. I only am going to be able to teach iOS and Apple stuff today, guys. I don't have a Microsoft computer, so I'm not able to teach you guys anything using like Audacity or any of that stuff. My understanding, though, is that a lot of these things all kind of work the same way, they're not that different. Even when I create movies and videos, they all are kind of the same. So it should be transferable knowledge if you don't have an Apple computer. But I do just want to let you guys know that I will be teaching the platform that I'm going to be using. It's GarageBand, and I believe it's only available on the iOS platform in the store. So I want to let you guys know that right off the bat. Hopefully, though, if you use Audacity or any of the other audio editing stuff, it still can be transferable knowledge. I'm going to go over some basic stuff. You really don't need anything like advanced. There's nothing that you need to go like buy some crazy stuff. It's pretty basic stuff, guys. I'm going to teach you, but it should allow you to have some really powerful and professional audios that you should be able to be pretty proud of. You don't need to have to go. You don't have to go to the studio and do all this stuff. Nice and simple. So any questions before I jump in and get started? All right, awesome. And now I do
actually, I was going to say really quick, I have used both, and there's a lot of common sense information that is transferable. So if you teach people how to use GarageBand, they can apply a lot of that to Audacity. I actually use a Mac, but I often use Audacity just because there's additional like perks to it, but they're both free. So that's,
do you use Audacity
cool
on your Mac? Because I didn't even find it in the Apple store.
You have to have a conversion kit.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, awesome. Krista, you sent that message directly to me, just to give you a heads up, in case you're sending it to the group. All right, then perfect, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Feel free to take notes. And if I'm going too fast, just raise your hand. Just, like, hey, can you slow that down or something? I'm going to try to keep you guys visible over here in my window as I do this. Okay, guys? Feel free to ask any questions. Like, I know we're going to do a Q&A at the end, but sometimes the questions are only applicable as I'm doing that specific thing, right? If I'm working on showing you a feature, you might want to ask right then and there, so can I do A, B, and C, or how does that work, right? So feel free to do that. I will not feel offended or interrupted. All right, guys, we just want everybody to be here cooperating and learning together. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen in a second. Where did it go? All right, share sound. Okay, you guys should be seeing my screen in just a sec. Here we go. All right, so this is my background, and that looks a little bit woo-woo, but that is my vision board. I keep it back there. So here we go. All right, so let's launch. Let me launch GarageBand. I'm actually going to start a new track. So let's start new. I'm not going to save this. I don't need to. All right, so when you start GarageBand, it's going to ask you if you want to start a new project. Go ahead and click on that. what you will do is you're going to select the microphone. We're not going to click any of these other buttons. We're just going to click this one with the mic. Double click that. And it brings us in here. So the first thing that I want you guys to do before we get started with starting to edit or anything is just go ahead and hit save. I want you guys to go ahead and save your project. That way you have a name. I don't know if this pop-up is showing up or not, but you will have a name and then you can just save it in GarageBand. That way, if anything happens, you could just keep saving as you go and all that stuff. So I always do that, hit save for this project, name it, whatever you want to name this, and that's that. So now that we've saved that project, when you save that project, it's going to be saved in GarageBand so that you can open it up in GarageBand again. That's not the finished product. It's not going to be an MP3. It's just so that when you open GarageBand, you can open this specific thing that you're working on. Okay. I'll show you at the end how to actually turn it into an MP3. So guys, what we're going to do, the first step that, sorry, I need to move this Zoom bar out of the way. I don't know where to put it. Like in the way, no matter where I move it. All right, so first thing that we're going to do, you're going to notice that there's like this metronome, this little triangle thing. This is a metronome up here. We're going to click that and turn it off. If you leave that on, you will hear the clicking throughout the entire audio. You want to turn that off immediately. That's the first thing. This 1, 2, 3, 4, I actually like to leave that there because it gives you a count off. So it goes click, 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 and then it starts recording. It gives you a countdown before you record so that you can have a second to get ready before you start recording your audio. I like to leave that there. So I do leave that on. If you don't like the countdown, you just want to start immediately recording, turn that off. But I like to leave that there. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. So leave that, turn the metronome on, off, and then figure out what you want to do with this countdown, yes or no. All right, guys. Then the next thing that I want you guys to do, we're going to need 2 audio tracks happening here. We need one for our vocals that we're going to be recording. We need a secondary audio line of audio down here because we're going to also add music to the background. So I'm going to go in this gray area underneath this audio one. You're going to right click or two finger click if you're on a Mac. Right click that, hit new audio track. And of course you're on a Mac because I'm teaching you GarageBand stuff. But anyways, some desktops have a mouse, but I'm on an actual laptop. So the trackpad, 2 fingers. And then you right click and you just click on new audio track. Once you do that, you will now have an area to record your first, the actual recording, and then we'll be able to import the actual song or background music that you're going to want to put in the background. Okay. So now we have these 2 things. I'm going to make sure, hold on, guys. I want to make sure I can see everybody for a second because I want to make sure nobody has any questions. Is everybody all good so far? All good to go? Perfect, perfect. All right, I'm going to keep going. Like I said, feel free to hit a reaction or raise hand or whatever if you have any questions. So I'm going to keep it moving over here, guys. What we will do at this point is, at this point, you basically just start your recording, okay? There's 2 things I want to make sure that you guys can do. You don't have to do it to start your recording. You can put these at the end and hit these buttons at the end, but I do like to do them in the first place anyways. I like to turn on the noise gate. That makes it so that any background sounds are turned off. So, or cancels out any background sounds. I got all those kiddos and my husband back there. They're always making some noise, pets and stuff. So I like to knock out all that background sound. The higher that you go on here, the more background sound it will take out, but also a lot of your voice. So if your voice isn't really loud, you probably don't want it to go too high. I like to keep it kind of right in the middle, but turn that on and it will basically block out that background noise. If you forget to turn this on before you start recording, you can just hit it afterward and it will apply it to the entire audio. So don't worry about it. But we do want to hit it at some point in time, beginning or the end. Also the record level, same thing. The record level, I like to change it right in the beginning, but you can do it at the end. This is going to be how loud your recording actually turns out. So the lower it is, the quieter it's going to be when you have your recording. So I like to put it about right here. If you put it all the way to the top, typically it starts to sound distorted and ridiculous. You don't want to get too crazy there. So I'd like to put it kind of in this area. And that's that. And I turn on the noise gate and I start recording. So all set. basically we would just begin the recording. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how this sounds right now. I'm going to hit the recording. I'm going to do like 5 seconds of a recording. Let's see. Oh, oops, sorry. Hold on. See what I just did there? This part is highlighted. I wanted to record my voice at the top level, but I didn't have the right line highlighted. So you can do that if you want to make sure that you have it in the right area. It does not matter really. And you can just drag it up there. So even if you recorded the whole thing down here, you could just drag and drop, put it up there anyway. It really doesn't matter. That's just what I'm used to seeing. So I really like it to be at the top and my music to be at the bottom line. So let me get rid of that and try that again. Did you guys hear that little click when I started recording? Did you hear the Brutus says or Jeff? No, you didn't hear it. Burtis.
I heard your mouse click. I didn't hear the tick like you're saying.
Okay, let me see if there's any way I could turn it up. Okay, hold on one second. I'm gonna hit record and just tune in. It's not that loud. Just see. Did you guys hear it? Okay. Well, it did this little. It might just be showing up in my ear.
Zoom has recently activated something. They've upgraded their platform so that it now takes out a lot of clicky noises. So like if somebody's messing with their mouse or a pen or whatever, so it's probably buffering that out.
It is. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Krista. Okay. Well, it gave me the little countdown. I was trying to see if you guys could hear it so you guys could know what I was talking about earlier, but I'm sure you guys are very smart, intelligent folks. And Burtis, do you like to go by Jeff? Okay.
Yes, please.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Perfect, guys. Okay. So we'll just do a quick little recording here. So just relax. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and breathe out. And again, I want you to just go ahead and take a deep breath in, filling your lungs all the way up. And another deep breath out as you release any anxieties, any stress anywhere in your body. And let's just take one last deep breath in, filling those lungs up. And as you take this deep breath out, you're simply going to, sorry, my daughter's back here screaming. I'm so sorry. She just distracted me. But okay, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to do a small little recording that we can use to edit and pretend that is our entire audio. So perfect. She interrupted me and that's perfect because I needed to end that anyways. All right, guys. So now we have the audio track. Can you guys hear me? My little one is in the kitchen crying. Okay. She's probably fighting with one of her siblings. She tends to do that. All right, guys. So here we go. We have this audio track. This is my voice. I can change the volume of this audio to left and to the right. I'm going to leave it kind of where it's at until I bring in the music. So now let's talk about the music. Now I'm actually going to hit save. That way my project saves what I've gotten so far. Remember, just always hit save as often as possible. Now I wanted to talk about where do we get our background music from? Okay, guys. So I know some of you guys in the group, I've seen some of you guys chatting and asking like, where does everybody get their music? So there's 2 places that I've used to get my background music. I use YouTube for the most part for my private, if I'm going to be using it for just a client. So if I won't be selling these and I don't plan on making monetary gain off of it, I can just go on YouTube. My understanding, now I'm not a lawyer, that's just my understanding of how copyright works, because it's public and it's free and accessible to all of the public. I can use the YouTube audios for my clients if I wanted to send it to just my client for whatever reason, just to that one client. And it's free and I'm not charging them for it. So I can use that. What I usually will do is go to YouTube and then I'll go to Google and use one of those converters. So have you guys ever gone on YouTube, like the YouTube to MP3 converters? Okay, a couple of you guys are saying yes, but some of you are saying no. So I can show you, but it's nothing super fancy. Basically, let me see, I'm gonna go to google.com. All right. Let's see. So I literally would just type in MP3 converter. Three. Yeah. YouTube to MP3 converter. And then I just pick one of these. I have no idea. There's always different ones that are up here. I think this YT MP3 is a good one. There's always different ones that they have up here. I just find one and just go with it. I just literally click on that and see if it lets me do it. What you do is you'll go to the YouTube page. So I'm not going to click on any particular video because my internet's moving so slow, but I will just copy something here. So once it loads, you guys will see it. Meditation music, why not? Okay, so how long are these ones? You usually want to use one that's not very long. So if you're going to do this YouTube to MP3 converter, a lot of those free converters, they limit you unless you pay for the upgraded version. So you're not going to want to pick an 11-hour video. This is way too long. You're going to want to find one that's a lot smaller. Now you might be able to do a 3-hour one, but really a 30-minute one is going to be like most ideal, something that's around 30 minutes or something. I'm trying to see if I can find one on here, but anyways, you would just go here and find a video. So let's see, let's go here and let's just say I picked this one and I picked this, and then I'm going to, come on, my internet's so slow. I don't think sharing the screen is helping. So all I need to do at this point is take this link at the top. I don't know if you guys can see me up here at the youtube.com/watch. I'm just going to take that link directly, copy that, and then I come back to my YouTube converter. You go to the YouTube converter. Pause the music. I knew it was going to do that. Pause it. There we go. All right. And then I'll drop that link in there. So you drop the link. It says MP3, so it knows you want to convert it into an MP3, and you hit convert. So it may or may not let me do this one just because it's kind of long. It's like a 3-hour one, and I would recommend not doing that. But if it does, you just follow the steps and just go ahead and keep converting. All right. So yeah, videos longer than 90 minutes, it won't let me do it. But anyways, you would just hit convert now, then download. It's pretty simple stuff, nothing crazy. And then once you've downloaded it, it will be accessible in your downloads file, wherever you say your stuff saves when you download. So this is one way that you can do it. I like to do it this way because it's quick and easy and it's free. Epidemic Sound is the other one that I use. I also have an Epidemic Sound. I think that's what it's called, Epidemic. Yeah, epidemicsound.com is the other program that I use. And I don't know if I still have it. Do I still have my membership there?
That's the one I use.
That's the one that you use. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and then when I find something I really like, I'll reach out to the artist directly and purchase the rights to that piece so that I can actually use it to sell without getting in trouble.
Right.
Yeah. In case you're doing it for more than just your one-on-one clients.
Thank you. I didn't know how it worked. And I do know, from my understanding, they said that you can use the music. Oh, Ursula, let's go ahead and unmute.
I didn't mean to interrupt you though. Why don't you finish?
No, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. I was just kind of touching on what Krista said.
Well, I was going to ask Krista, when you purchase in that way, what would be the general kind of cost for that?
I think the one I've seen them as low as like $20 and as high as like 200. So it really just depends. I have one that that was pretty pricey that I use for a lot of stuff because he also gave me the right to adjust and alter his music so I can layer like isochronic tones on top of it with a sound engineer. And that was the $200 one. And he gave me like a smaller, I think it's like 8-minute long one, and then also one that's an hour and a half. But I think if you're just getting like a simple song, that you're just going to use as is, you can get it for pretty cheap. Also, I don't know if you use this at all, Tiani, but if you're looking for just sound effects, like if you're doing a fun, I don't know, like a virtual gastric band, you can get like the sound effects of a hospital, like surgery sort of theater, go on Audio Hero.
I've never used Audio Hero.
.com.
Now
audiohero.com.
I do know Epidemic Sound does have sound effects as well. I haven't tried the Audio Hero before at all.
The Audio Hero just has more for sound
Yeah.
effects. That they don't have the cool songs that Epidemic Sound has, though. The cool songs
Right.
itself, yeah. So
Right, for sure. So there are some sound effects that I've used on Epidemic Sound, nothing crazy. So I don't know what their library is in terms of that. But thank you, Krista. That's super helpful. What I was going to say was that when I signed up for Epidemic Sound, I believe if I'm not mistaken, what it said when I signed up was that as long as I have my membership active, whenever my membership is active for anything that I download during that time is protected under copyright. So whatever those sounds, I can literally
it's
not
accurate
that I download,
as long as you don't
not
sell
download. Okay, so that was the part that I
Yeah.
wasn't sure about.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, because I know they said you can publish it. That was the word.
Yep.
Anything you publish, not download, anything you publish from their library during the time of your membership is, so if you make a YouTube video or something like that, or put it on Instagram or something like that, then it will be protected even if you end your membership the next month, as long as
Yep.
you published it during that time. So Krista is giving us the gold in terms of making sure that you're able to actually sell.
Right.
the-
That's when you have to purchase the individual ones, is if you're going to be using it to sell like a hypnotic audio later.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's when she's like, she
distribution.
said, you
Yeah.
can reach out to the actual artist and find out the licensing prices and stuff. So thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate it. All right, awesome. So now essentially let's pretend we got an MP3 from Epidemic or from YouTube. Let's go ahead and how can I get out of here? Okay, I'm gonna bring this down so that we can get back over here. So let's pretend we figured out what MP3 we're going to be using. I already have one saved on my desktop, so I'm going to bring that over. Basically, there's two ways that you can bring the audio over to this line here. You can either right click the line and hit add audio file. And then it'll pop up with, you can go to desktop or wherever. So for me, that's the one that I'm looking for, this Delta Wave, bring that over here, and boom, it's there. This is the one I want to use. The other option, I'm going to delete this. The other option that you can do is you can drag and drop, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And that did not do what I was looking for it to do. Make this small. Okay, so my understanding, if I can remember correctly, I could just take this from my desktop and drop it right on in there. So you can also do it that way. If you're more of a drag and drop type of person, just take it from your desktop. You can just drag and drop it physically into there. So feel free to do it that way. I just wanted to show you guys both ways so you can have your pick. And then now it's in there. Perfect. All right, guys. So now we have both of these playing. We're going to want to bring the volume down of the background music, obviously. We want our voice to be louder, so we're going to bring this down. I'm going to want you guys to play around with this. It's going to really vary depending on your microphone. Now, you don't need, I like to remind people, a lot of people feel like they got to go to Guitar Center and go buy like the highest quality microphone. You do not need to do that. I actually, for the longest time, was just using those white headphones, with the cord and everything from the iPod or from Apple, whatever comes with like your iPhone or whatever, back when we used to have the wired headphones. So those ones were my bread and butter. People would always tell me, oh my God, what microphone are you using? It sounds amazing. And I'm like, those cheap $20 headphones, what are you talking about? They came free with the thing. I don't know. And I got so many compliments. So you do not need to have some crazy fancy anything at all. Do not feel bad. As a matter of fact, I now am using a professional microphone because my husband's a musician. So he gave me his like, studio recording microphone. And sometimes I just don't want to even bother with that. I'd still rather just plug in those little cheapo headphones because the quality is not that much different to me personally. I don't know. I'm not an audiophile though, so who knows? But don't feel bad if you just have regular headphones that have a little microphone on them or anything. Those just suffice perfectly. All right, guys. So now you're going to play around with the audio a little bit, figuring out the ratio. Like you're going to want to make sure it's not overpowered, but it's also still audible. So just play around with that, get to the right spot where that feels right for you. I'm going to push play for a second and see kind of how this sounds. What I like to do typically is I like to move this over. I like to bring in the music for a second and then have my voice come in. So that's usually how I'll start my audio. So let's just start from the beginning and see if you guys can hear it. If you guys can't hear it, let me know. Starts off really quiet. No, nobody can hear it. Can you hear my voice?
No.
You guys can't hear anything. Shoot. Okay, let me
You
try this
need
again.
you need to make the sound output setting on your computer match the sound setting on Zoom.
I had done it with Krissa, so I don't know why it's not working now. We did a sound check right before and
When you shared screen, did you click the little tick box for share sound?
for share sound. I did, but let me double check and make sure. Let me just end this and then double check. Yeah, it says that it's clicked on there. Let me click advanced and see, make sure that that's on as well. No, go back. Yeah, share sound, it's on, share. Okay. Let's try one more time. Let's see. Can you guys hear anything?
Hmm.
Shoot. Okay, let me just stop sharing and try it one more time. Because it did work when I just did it with Krissa. It was working when we tried it, Krissa? All right.
Yeah, it was. It was totally working. I don't know what happened.
That's so odd. Okay, let me try again. Maybe it just needs a little reset. Okay, guys, let me bring it back up. Let's see if we can get some of this playing. And then if not, then Jeff, I probably will have to go into Zoom and do what you just said. So just see.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so weird. Okay. Very annoying. Let me see. All right, let me stop sharing so I can work on this output really quickly. Here we go. Where are preferences? Okay, so output.
I wonder if it would help if I just made you the host instead of the co-host. I mean, you're able to share, so I would think you still have the advanced options in your share screen, right?
Right. Yeah, I do. It still shows as the advanced. It shows that it's the check boxes there. Really quick, Jeff, when you mentioned
That was Scott that popped in. And we did hear you initially when you did that first
Mhm.
little bit. So I don't know what happened,
Yeah.
but that was Scott that popped in with the advice, not me.
okay, perfect. Sorry, I didn't even realize
I wonder
that.
if it's in GarageBand. Do you have that muted by any chance? Can you hear it
Oh,
on your end?
I can
when you-
hear it perfectly.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can. Okay.
Okay, thank
I don't
you.
know then.
Okay, very weird. Let me just check and see if let me make sure nothing's muted and nothing's weird. Scott, if you're still here, when you mentioned the making sure the output matched, I'm assuming you mean under the preferences and audio and then output. But right now, because I have my headphones in, it's only giving me the option to to put that as the audio. And I don't know if that will, I could try to put it a different way. I don't know. It's like he unmuted, but then
I unmuted him, but
oh,
don't know.
I don't know if he's here. Might
yeah,
have popped
he's
back out.
still here
No
somewhere.
worries. No worries, we can mute him back and then.
But yeah, we totally heard you at the beginning, so I don't know what happened.
It's
Something got,
weird. What's
yeah,
going on?
how strange.
All right, let me close out GarageBand real quick and then try reopening it. Just see if that'll help.
And guys, while she's doing that, I do know another colleague who uses Audacity. And so we can have a future one coming up next month or the month after, where we do a deep dive into that one for people who are using that instead of GarageBand. And that way you'll have, if you use a Mac, you can do either one. And if you're on a PC, then you can tune into that one and it'll help. Though you're still getting valuable information here, even if you don't use a Mac, because there's other things going on as well. So,
All right, guys, I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna go ahead.
and I would lead it myself, except that my method of figuring stuff out is the hunt and peck method. And then I never remember how I did it. So I have to it's like 3 more times before I kind of remember, but like I yeah, and I'm terrible at following directions when it comes to like watching YouTube videos, the how-tos, you know. Yeah, I'll get like halfway through and I'm like, I'll figure it out. So I'm probably not the best person to teach you how to do it. I'm just like, just figure it out. My poor kids, I raised them that way too. Just figure it out.
I love it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me just try. I'm going to try just sharing just GarageBand and see if that'll work. I included the sound, share sound, so hopefully you guys can hear. I'm going to push play again and let me know if this works. What is going
Well, that's okay. Let's just
on? Okay,
keep going as if it
Yeah.
were working, because we can
All
still
right.
show people how to do the stuff, even if
For
we
sure.
can't hear it. But yeah, that's too bad. I don't know why
that
it's
is
not
too
letting
bad
me.
because I wanted you guys to hear the difference
Yeah.
between when I'm changing things around so you guys can really see. So that's really sad. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, but you guys can see my
Hear me?
GarageBand. Oh, go ahead, Terry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me turn my
we
video
can
on.
see it.
Okay, yeah, now we can.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so inside your Zoom, like where you like your mic settings are,
Mhm.
and you choose your audio device, make sure that that audio device matches whatever your sound output on your computer is. I don't know for certain that this will fix it, but this is what I have to do to make it work right for Audacity when I'm doing a Zoom. Because otherwise
Okay.
the sound from Audacity doesn't come through.
Okay, so let's see. I've got my microphone. Both my output and input are my headphones right now. I don't know if that matters. So I'm going to try in the system. Let's see if that works. Okay. They're showing as matching, so we'll try it one more time. If it doesn't work, we'll keep it moving. I super appreciate that, Scott. Thank you so much. Let's see. All right,
No
guys,
problem.
one last time. Let's see what happens here.
Maybe unplug the headphones and just use the system.
The
Okay.
only issue is that when I took my computer into Mac, they broke my speakers and I have an
Oh.
older computer, so they couldn't get the replacement parts. So I can't hear you guys without
Oh,
the headphones.
that's too bad.
I know.
Technology.
It's so annoying. So I need the headphones in because they blew out my, luckily, they paid for everything else that needed to be fixed because they realized I messed up, but they weren't able to replace the speakers, unfortunately. So I've always got to have headphones in order to hear. You guys would be able to hear me. I just wouldn't be able to hear you guys because they're blowing. They just sound like static.
Man, if you had a PC, wow.
Who you telling? Who you telling? Oh my gosh. All right. So, all right, let me try one last time. Let's see if this will work. See if Scott was able to help me get this working, y'all. All right, let's get this GarageBand back up. One last time. Let me try. Let's see. This one. Help. Anything? Terrible. All right. Well, forget it. Whatever. For whatever reason, it's not playing. I can hear it perfectly fine, so I don't know what the heck is happening right now. But anyways, as you guys can see, it starts quiet. It starts to fade up into the actual audio. So the reason why I I start the audio later, my actual voice is so that the sound can actually, get to where it's at. So I like to like fade it in and then start talking. You can do that if you like, you don't have to, it's up to you. And then what you're going to do is at the end of your audio, you see that the soundtrack is actually longer than my audio, which it typically is going to be. You can simply split it at some point in time. So I like to let it fade out. So I'm going to go a little past my voice. I'll pick a random spot. And then right here where I've clicked, I'm going to right click or 2-finger click and split at playhead. This is the playhead, this little line here. This is the playhead. So I want it to split here at this playhead. And then I'm just going to delete. You can literally physically click on that audio track that was there and just hit the button delete and then get rid of that. I'll show you how to fade the music out in a second so that the volume goes down and out and not just abruptly ends. So right now, this is how I like my audio. I like it to fade in, then I start talking and I stop talking and then it fades on out. Okay, everybody's all good here. Everything makes sense so far? All right, perfect. I'll hit save again. All right, so what I want to do right now is I do want to go ahead and do the fade out. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. You don't have to do this, but it does make it sound a lot better than if it just abruptly ends at the end. Okay, guys. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up to the top menu. I hope you guys can see. I hope the screen share shows it. There's the menu at the very top of your GarageBand. File, edit, track, record, mix, share. Do you guys see this up here? Is it showing? Perfect. Awesome. You're going to hit mix and then you're going to hit show automation. The showing the automation, that's basically going to allow you to change the levels of volume at certain parts of your tracks. So I'm going to leave it up here for my voice. I'm not going to change it for my voice. I'm just going to change it for the for the background track. Okay, guys. So I want the volume. I want to play with the volume. I click on the actual track that I'm working on. And you see this yellow line, that is where the volume is currently. It corresponds with this. So if I turn the volume up left and right over here, it will go up and down. So you guys can see that's where the volume is currently laid. Now, if I would like it to fade out, I need to actually click on this yellow line. When I click on it, you'll see that a little tiny node shows up right there, that little white node. And then I want one at the end too. So I click on another one right there. So right now I can play around with that little segment that I've created. So I'm going to drag down that bottom node so that it ends up fading out. And so unfortunately, you guys can't hear what's happening, but you guys are very intelligent. You guys can use your imaginations and we can say, okay, so right now what's
We want you to sing instead. Just
apparently, yeah. So basically this is going to fade it out. So it's just going to slowly go on out into the end right there. Okay, guys, you can do this at any point in your audios. You can do that. You'll just click on there, and just, create nodes. Now I don't need that. So I'm going to undo automation.
But that is changing both channels simultaneously, right?
But this is only changing this line here.
Oh.
So it left this one alone. See, this one has it separate, a complete separate one. So if I wanted to fade my voice up and down.
Yeah, but I'm saying on the two channels on the music side, that changes both channels.
I'm not sure channels.
It's interesting. It almost looks like you could change, I don't know, this channel separately or something. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but
when you say channels, what specifically are you referring to?
like you've got your music, right? And it's like looks like it's a right and left side, correct?
Yeah, you've got the darker blue at the top and then sort of a
Oh,
gray
I
at
see.
the
I see
bottom.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like this part, I'm not really sure why it shows up that way. It's maybe because it's got like chimes in there and music in there,
Yeah.
but it's just affecting
It's
the whole
changing.
audio track.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't really, normally it would just look like one line. I don't really know why it has those two. You seem to be more technology driven than I am, but yeah, ordinarily if it's just your voice, it's just gonna have one line here. This one has two like waves of sound here. So yes, it is going to affect this entire audio track, just this bottom one. not the top one. I could do this top one separately if I wanted to. So I could play with this one by itself, but I'm going to leave it where it's at. So that's where I want that volume to be at. And this one
The
will
top
fade.
one, the top one has one line of audio because it's a mono track, and the bottom one has two lines of audio because it's a stereo track.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I wasn't going to be able to share any of that. Thank you, Scott.
Well, because Scott, not that it matters, but could she have changed the either side or both sides of the channel of the stereo channel?
I'm not familiar with GarageBand, but I would suspect that you can independently adjust the volumes of the two sides.
Okay.
But I would have no idea how to do so.
Okay. I mean, it's just a curiosity. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, play around with it. Like I said, I am not, this is literally for people like me who are trying to make audios. I wanted to make sure that it was nice and simple, that you know that you do not have to be some tech whiz. So even what Jeff and Scott, you guys, your knowledge is obviously way more vast than mine. So yeah, I play around with it, do whatever, play with the channels. I literally have never even heard that term channel. So you're good.
But that's what we wanted from you, Tiani. So don't feel in any way
perfect.
like you're not giving us what we not. There's a lot of people who are really just trying, like if you were 20 steps ahead, but they wouldn't be able to follow you. You need to just be like a few steps ahead so that we can follow you, because not everybody has
Right.
the skill set, right? So
For
no,
sure.
I think this is perfect. I don't want you to feel in any way like I don't know, that you don't know enough. You know
Nah,
exactly enough. So thank you.
no, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the input.
And I'm sorry
because
that
we
your
are
audio
all-
thing isn't working, because it totally was before. I know it
What the
was. We
hell,
heard
man?
it. So sorry
Right.
about that. But don't let that derail you too much.
No, we got
And
it.
I'll hum in the background if you just want to
There
like,
we
you know,
go.
get like a
I love it. Okay. Yeah, no, awesome. So I love it. And I love the interactions with everybody, because some people do have more knowledge, and you guys will be, this will be helpful for you, but also we're learning together. So this is really, really amazing. Appreciate it. All right, guys. So basically what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to pretty much solidify that part. I don't need to play around with this volume anymore. So I'm going to click this little blue dot, which is the automation, what we just brought up. I'm going to put that away. I don't need that, and I don't want to accidentally mess anything up. So I get rid of that and I go back to where we were at. So those changes of the fading in and out are still back there, and they're still saved. And, we would hit save again, make sure it's saved, or you can Control S or Command S, whatever works for you. And then pretty much the last thing that I like to do is I actually prefer to add I guess what it would be called, what we would know it as, it's called a voice patch, I believe, on here, but what most of us would think of it as is like a filter. So the way you have filters on Instagram or to make your face look a certain way, this is going to actually change the effects of your voice. So I actually am going to come over here. I'm going to click on audio 1. So you see it's gray. That means we're up here working on the voice track of my voice. And then I'm going to click on voice over here in the library on the left. If this is not showing up in your GarageBand for whatever reason, you can come up here to view, and it should say, hide library or show library. So you can always just make it come up physically if it's not automatically showing up by default. Now, what I like to do, unfortunately, because you guys can't hear what I'm doing, you won't be able to hear the difference, but I really encourage you to do this on your own at home and play around with it. There are 2 audio tracks or effects or filters or whatever you would call them. There's 2 effects that I prefer, and that is narration vocal and tracking vocal. Those are the 2 that I like. Natural is kind of good. It can be a little too echoey for me, but I don't mind that depending on what I'm making and depending on the audio in the back. So the 3, I guess, that I would say you can use is narration vocal, natural vocal, and tracking vocal. You're more than welcome to use any of these other ones, but it's like, it starts to get crazy. You start sounding like, they got robot sounds. There's a lot of weird stuff that you probably won't use. If you want my opinion, the ones that you would be using as a hypnosis professional would be the narration, natural, and tracking. Tracking is actually my preferred one. It brings your voice to the forefront so that it's not clashing with the audio, with the background audio. And that's the biggest thing. You can change the volume, but the way that it's presenting, it still sounds like they're at the same level. So I go to the tracking vocal, and it brings out my voice. It just sounds like it's in the foreground, and the background music stays in the back. So I really, really recommend making sure you use one of these types of effects on your voice, just to kind of make it stand out. So that is going to be one of the most important things that I do before I finish exporting. So now let's see, why is that so quiet? All right, guys. So then you select one of those and you can apply it to just the top one. If you apply it to the music, there's other, I mean, you can feel free to try adding any of these effects to your music track as well. You're more than welcome to do that. I don't know why you would need to, but hey, whatever, do your thing. Try things out and see what happens. Okay, guys, get used to GarageBand, get used to Audacity, whatever it is that you're going to be using, just click on stuff, try it out, play with it, see what this does, see what that does. When you click on it, you guys will see that I've clicked on tracking vocal down here in this little area for all the controls and the EQs. You can change the compression, you can change the echo, you can change the reverb and all these different things. This is the default for tracking. And if I click on natural, you'll see that they'll change. These have changed. So you can play around with these as you'd like. I just try not to do too much because I like to keep it simple. Any questions so far? How's everybody feeling? Is everything making sense? Awesome. All right, perfect, guys. Okay, so essentially we're done with this audio. Like really, at this point, everything is good. I feel great about my audio. I've moved things around. I've split, I've cut the audio off. I've faded it out. Let me make sure the fade is still there. Boom, it is still right there. And I'm all set, ready to go. So now all I need to do is export this audio. I want it to be done. I want it to be ready to MP3 format, and I can send it over to my client or upload it or however you want to do it. So all I need to do is
this is the part that I struggled with the most. Go slow. So like anybody who's new to this can really follow along, because this is like to this day, if I were to go on GarageBand right now and do it, this would be the part that I would still struggle with.
Yeah. I'm really glad you said that, because I would not have known. I would have been like, okay, you got it. Here you go. Just click on that. So it's very helpful. Awesome. So all I do is, first of all, one last save, of course, so that it's saved in GarageBand, this project. But now let's go to share. So I come up here to the share option. You go down to export song to disk. The disk, I am assuming, is my hard drive. I don't know what other disk it could possibly be talking about. So it's not a CD. It's not that type of disk. I don't know what else it is. So I'm assuming it's that. So we'll just say, oops. Perfect. Okay, I want to name this Hypnosis audio track. All I need to do now is figure out where I want it saved. So do I want it saved on my desktop? Do I want it saved somewhere in my hypno audios or my husband's job stuff? I don't know why I would put it there, but anyways, I prefer desktop. I like always putting my stuff on the desktop. That way it's boom, it's right there. I don't have to worry about it or wonder where it's at. And then just make sure that this part is selected as MP3. You do not want it saving as any other type of file. So MP3 is the audio file we're going to use, high quality, obviously, and then hit export. Okay. We're going to wait for this thing to export. It's going to do its little thingy. Boom. All right. Looks like it's done. Okay. So I believe it has finished exporting. It typically won't be that fast, guys. It's like a 15-second audio. So I guess it's that fast this time. But normally you'll wait like a minute or two for it to finish fully converting. And there it is. Now it's here on my desktop right here. And I'll double click it, Hypnosis audio track. Double click.
I had a feeling it was going to start playing as soon as you saved it. And here we go.
You guys can hear it now.
Now we can hear it.
Weird.
I think it was because it wasn't saved.
So just relax. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and breathe out. And again, I want you to just go ahead and take a deep breath in, filling your lungs all the way up. And another deep breath out as you release any anxieties, any stress, anywhere in your body. And let's just take one last deep breath in, filling those lungs up. And as you take this deep breath out, you're simply going to, sorry.
Oh, that was great. It was kind of like a mystery. And then we got to hear how it all ended up in the end. But it's cool that you were so worried that we would hear your daughter and we couldn't hear your daughter at all.
You couldn't,
So
apparently. Yeah,
that's,
see
I think,
that.
a combination between the new Zoom update and then also GarageBand. Can you guys hear the crazy thunder happening? See, Zoom is, there's a that's why I had to turn the light on. There's a massive thunderstorm happening right now. It's super, super loud. Like,
Oh my gosh.
my yard is flooded.
Okay, we're gonna send you safe vibes and
I'm
energy.
excited about a hurricane. Are you kidding? I'm like, bring it on.
We just came back from Oklahoma, like I told you, and it was like a tornado warning every 3 seconds. And
Yeah, I don't like tornadoes.
it would be 100 degrees outside, then suddenly it's storming, raining, the power is out for a day. It was ridiculous. I was like, well,
Oh my gosh.
I get back to Albuquerque. This is too much for me. I can't handle it. But they're so used to it. We were talking to our friends and we were like, so does Jayla still have class today? Does she still have practice? And they're like, yeah, of course.
They don't even, they're just like, yeah, this
I'm
is
like,
no big deal.
I'm not,
Yeah.
well, we'll be late because we're waiting for this rain to stop. I mean, this is like a full storm and we're not driving through that. You guys are crazy.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like a whole different thing. But yeah, so yeah, you guys got a chance to hear. At least I'm so glad it played, at least at the end.
No, it's kind of cool, actually. It was like, when you're watching a movie and you don't know what's going to happen at the end, and then suddenly we actually got it. Because
That's right. That's right. So you guys got a chance to hear. Hopefully it was loud enough for you guys to kind of hear that, it had the background music, but it wasn't overpowering my voice. And then it faded out at the end, nice and quiet. The music faded out. And hopefully you guys were able to see it all came together. Pretty simple, pretty easy. We didn't do anything crazy. Yeah.
I'm
thumbs up.
surprised so those are just Apple earbuds, or not earbuds. What are they called? AirPods?
So actually these are Beats by Dre headphones, but
Oh, okay. The
they're-
microphone is really good on those. Like, I have
Yeah.
this fancy schmancy setup over here,
Yep, exactly.
because I like to get in really close sometimes.
Yeah, no, honestly, I usually will just have these, and if I'm working on the ones that I'm going to sell, then yeah, I'll bring out my husband's fancy microphone, and that way, I can play
Right.
around with the sounds and stuff a little bit more. But really,
No, that sounded really good.
and that's how I've always felt. I mean, yeah, they're Beats by Dre, but these are the cheapo ones. And look, guys, look, I'll show you. My kids have destroyed them. This is
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So it's not
They're like cats.
yeah, and then like, yeah, that's how my children are. They are like cats. That's the perfect way to put it. So they're not like one of the audios on here, like the right earbud. I don't even think I can hear anything out of it. Just my left one. But but I do like the microphone, and I like the way that it fits on my head. The earbuds fit on my head, so I still wear my old Beats by Dre and use those. But yeah, if you have the little Apple earbuds or regular iPod ones, the ones that plug into the computer, whichever one. I've never used Bluetooth headphones to record, so I'm not going to give you guys any advice on that. I do not like using Bluetooth to do anything. I hate Bluetooth technology so much of the time. Drives me crazy. So if I'm having to record something, I'm probably just going to do it with one that I actually plug into the aux port. I very rarely will use anything Bluetooth oriented. But yeah, any questions? I would love to open the floor for the Q&A. Yeah. So is it Suze or?
Suze? Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I was just curious to know what, in everyone's experience, the demand for purchasing audio is, and also what a price point might be for that. Because I love recording the stuff, but I just wasn't sure how often people actually want to buy it, because there are so many free things available. Yeah.
I'll open the floor for any of you other folks. Sharing from my personal experience, I'm not 1000% positive because I've just now started adding them as like an a la carte option. Typically, I just offer my services. I've never done. I'm just starting to create purchasable items on my website, and so I have no idea what the demand is yet, because I've literally just got to it the last couple of weeks as something that you can purchase. So I don't have any experience, but I know some of you guys have been doing it for a little while. Krista has some that I believe you also sell, so I'd love to open the floor for any of you guys.
So what I found is that, yes, there is a lot of free content on YouTube and elsewhere. Spotify, etc. But there are 8 billion people on the planet and not everybody resonates with the same voice, right? So like I can listen to somebody and it just grates like fingernails on a chalkboard and I'm like, ah, and somebody else will hear it and be like, I love that person. Meanwhile, I'm getting a migraine. So I don't think you should let that stop you. There's really no competition. There's going to be people that resonate with your specific sound, your syntax, your, everything. As far as price points go, I actually use my audios often as a freebie. And then also, I'll send them to people in advance of a session sometimes, depending on what their issue is and if I have a recording that kind of fits with it. But to get them used to my voice and the sensation of going into a trance, listening to my voice and all that stuff, I do sometimes make like just randomly, money will just show up in my account from somebody who found them and purchased them. And I'm always like, yay, because I don't really promote them. Somebody who might be a good person to talk to is Victoria Gallagher. And she's been doing it for a long time and she's actually turned it into a whole app now. She's got an app with hundreds of her hypno audios. As far as price points go, like I said, I usually do mine either free or very, very little. Like I'll sometimes do a huge sale where I'll make them 75% off, which brings them down to like $6.95. Because very rarely do I sell them at the $27. And that's okay. That's fine, because I'm not really doing it to try and like, that's not I don't know. I'm not really promoting them. I'm not trying to make that part of my business huge. But just getting back to there's no competition. There really isn't. Like people who resonate with the sound of your voice and how you present this stuff, that's the tribe that's going to be tuning into you, so there could be thousands and thousands of us all on YouTube for free. And the people who need to find you can't find you if you're not there. So there's no competition.
I love that. Thank you. That's perfect.
Awesome. Also, I saw that Terry had asked about if you like cough or if there's some sound in the background that you need to cut out. It looks like you mentioned that you probably figured it out, but I do think that's a really great question. So I would love to just demonstrate it really quickly, if that's okay with you guys. Okay, perfect. So let's go back into GarageBand. Let me share the screen actually. Stop playing around. Share screen. Screen and share sound. Let's see. We can get back into GarageBand. So essentially, it's going to be the same thing that I showed you guys how to end this audio track. You're going to want to split it. So say this was the cough right here, this spike in voice, whatever. If that was the cough area right here, then I'm going to go ahead and put the playhead as close to it as possible. Let's just say it's this whole little guy, this whole section. Oh, also, if you guys need to be more precise, all right, if you want to zoom in ever, you can just like, I use 2 fingers and I just spread it open a little bit more on the trackpad. I do not know how to do it if you're using a mouse. I have no idea. So sorry guys, if you have a mouse, I don't know how to do that. But essentially,
I think it's in that menu that's up above.
Up here. Okay, maybe under
maybe
view
in the
or
view.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere in there,
I would
yeah.
let you guys play around with that, but this will allow you to be more precise as to where you put this playhead, because now you're closer in. But anyways, okay, so let's go. We're going to hit split, just like the right click that we did earlier, split at playhead. Then we would do it again right here, split at playhead. We would just delete this whole little section. And that would get rid of that cough or that sound or whatever it was back there, which happens quite often, so you can definitely do that. You don't necessarily need to bring this closer if you still want there to be a pause. So if you were, say that was supposed to be a silent moment and then there was a cough in the background or you accidentally coughed, then just leave that here because the music will be still playing. You don't need to fill this in with anything. The music's still playing in the background, so it still sounds like just a nice little pause. And then it will continue to go right there. That makes sense? Perfect, awesome. Okay. Great question. Okay, any other questions, guys? Awesome, yeah, it's pretty simple stuff, right?
That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Tiani. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
really helpful to have somebody who can just break it down into layman's terms and just like, nice and direct. But now we also know I think you have to save it and then play it before we can hear it. I don't know.
Save it as
why,
an
but-
exported, yeah, which is not great because I wanted to show you guys as we were
As it was
working on the
happening.
project, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I wanted to show you guys
Learning.
because, yeah, Janet.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to make sure you guys could hear when I was talking to you guys about those voice effects, for instance. I wanted you guys to be able to hear the difference between my voice
As you were doing
and
it, yeah.
yeah, like dang.
I was so
But
curious
as-
to find out what you would sound like if you put it on like 60s chorus.
I know it's such cool stuff, man. Yeah.
There's new like apps that you can do now where you can make yourself sound like a celebrity too. AI has come very far. It's a little scary actually.
Of course.
But yeah, you can do your own thing and then you can make yourself sound like,
Sound like somebody else.
yeah.
They've been
yeah.
doing that. They've been doing it with like all the celebrities, making them have silly little Instagram accounts and that of them saying dumb stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So here, there's those of us out there trying really hard to just be our authentic selves. And then there's other people that are doing everything they can to get as far away from that as possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But hey, I mean, like you said, everybody, I definitely still prefer my take and my spin on things. I hope that people, I believe that people will like me and my voice, and I don't
Yep.
need to alter it too much.
And that's what it's all about, honestly. And I'm just I know it's a little woo, and not everybody in here is into the woo, but this is just something that was shared with me in meditation about 6 months ago or so, but maybe it's a year. Our own voice, our natural voice resonance is calibrated to heal our body's cells.
Wow.
And that came as just this like, right? But then there was also this caveat, which is that a lot of us don't use our natural voice resonance, especially females, because we're rewarded for sounding like a little girl throughout our whole entire lives, right? And so we're not benefiting from that. But this was also, and I mean, I'm not stating this like it's fact. This is just stuff that's shared with me when I'm in meditation. Who knows where it comes from? I'm sharing it with you. Take it, leave it, do whatever you want with it. But also that the people who we can help or that will benefit from being in our lives and us in their lives, our tribe, so to speak, will find us through our natural voice resonance. Something inside of them will be like, it'll be familiar. It'll be like, oh, I need to know this person. And I hear this a lot, like from clients that have heard me on Jason Linnett's podcast, or they find me on YouTube or whatever. They're like, as soon as I heard your voice, I knew I needed to reach out to you. And there's no marketing that can do that, right? You just got to put yourself out there and just be authentic. So I just wanted to share that with you. I think that really ties in with, chanting, right? Almost every like sort of spiritual background has some sort of chanting involved, or mantras, or, things like that, singing. So there you go. So don't be afraid to get out there. There's no competition. There's really not. Your voice is absolutely unique in the world. There's nobody else that has exactly your voice. None.
That's right. I love that. I never thought of your voice being able to, the resonance of your voice being able to be the healing, the perfect frequency for healing for you. Never thought about it that way, but it makes sense. And I think Krista, about how I grew up, and I just made that video on my Facebook too, where I used to talk just like you said, like, oh, hi. And I would purposely like try to make myself less intimidating and hello, everybody. And then all of a sudden, once
a lot of us do it.
myself, and I remember like I had so much blockage in this throat chakra area because of that. And so as I started to just speak as Tiani, that's when I started getting I love your voice. Oh my God, your voice is so amazing. Yeah, you have such a beautiful voice. Do you sing? And I do not sing. You guys do not want to hear me singing. But when I talk and I do like audios or anything like this, just regular stuff, I can do that. I mean, I can hold a note, but my range is
I love your voice. I think you have a fantastic voice, but
Thank you so
we're in
much.
each other's tribe, so that makes sense, right?
That does make sense.
So I did put your website up.
Perfect.
If anybody wants to reach out to you directly for sessions, for more help with this stuff, whatever. And that is the Wild Hypno Lady.
Right.
If anybody needs that. Tiani can pop it back in there again. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. If you haven't opted into the email list and you would like to be informed about the upcoming events, because we have 2 every month, there is a link in the Facebook group where you can do that. And it's just underneath the little announcement for this. And then also, I will put this up here real quick. I know we're running a little bit over time, but I do have a new YouTube channel. I say new, it's actually a few months old, but I'm just really slow. And I'm getting all of these put up there one by one. There's about 7. I'm gonna keep working on them. So there's that link. If you want, go ahead and subscribe to it. And that way you'll always have all of these. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of these. There's, I don't know, 2.5 years worth. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, Tiani. It was
Thank
such a
you,
pleasure to
guys.
finally have you guest host for us.
Yay,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you guys for this co-working space. I really appreciate everybody jumping in, chiming in, working together as a team. We are learning and growing together, and that is all that's all we're here to do. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And thanks, Scott and Jeff.
I know, yeah,
Bye.
yeah.